Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where Paul and I are going to go through the whole business over the weekend, and it was a real business. We will then see part two of Jack Ramsey, the tribute to the late Jack Ramsey, because he was a man among men in the horse racing industry. Fantastic guy, and quite an interesting interview. So we hope you enjoy that. But let's go straight into the weekend's sport with our regular columnist, Paul Lafferty.
Okay. I'm going to start with football, James, where it looks like the big three, if I can call them that, are rolling on.
Who's the big three?
Man City comfortably accounted for West Ham, and Chelsea gave Burnley one to go on with, and Man United pummeled the other team but managed to grab a
93rd minute goal, Fergie time. I think Mourinho time.
But they completely outplayed them.
Doesn't make any difference. The score was 1-0, 93rd minute. At the end of the day, I think Arsenal are the big three, and Tottenham are the big four. Okay, forget Man United.
Tottenham were outplayed by Liverpool. Liverpool were far the better side. I think we're happy to come over that point. They caught us in the break. They were quicker than us. They were better than us, and no excuses. They should have beaten us.
So what are you going to do about it?
No, we're still unbeaten.
Yeah.
But then your team, Arsenal, who you support when they win, they've come through. And
I'm not supporting them because they bought a central defender, I think from Valencia, and they bought a striker from
and they bought a central defender from Bolton.
Yeah, and let me tell you, this is going to change the whole way we play.
Okay, so
we will be unbeaten from here onwards.
It looks very good. It looks because Leicester back on their winning ways. It looks like it's going to be. And let's not forget Everton. Everton are doing great. What about your beloved rugby team?
My beloved rugby team.
Pass the ball.
Well, all I can tell you, we saw this coming.
Yeah.
After last weekend, we saw this coming. They are
some of the players not up to standard, I believe.
Of course. That's absolutely what it's all about. Have we got the best side on the park that South Africa put together?
Not at the moment.
I think that I've always said the front row is highly suspect. I think he's a bad captain. I think that one flanker is only there because he's a parochial Western Province boy. There's no doubt. The other flanker is definitely not the best flanker in South Africa. And as a result, we got the two best locks, the best eighth man, best scrum half, probably the best fly half.
I don't agree. I think the fly half has been found out every time he's put on
the
Springbok jersey. His kicks are wrong. He doesn't get the
problem
post.
is that he's got. The problem is that he doesn't play, and it was very interesting listening to Nick Mallett, who I think is the best rugby analyst around, about Yankees, and he said that the problem with Yankees is that he has no game plan. Whereas with the Lions, he has a proper game plan. They know exactly what he's going to do. And the thing is, with this team, he's not in the same mould as he is with the Lions.
No, they're not as dominant. The Lions are dominant, and they've helped him.
You've got to have a dominating pack as to
the Lions are the best team in the country.
I fear for us against Australia, who are weak.
Yeah.
And I really fear for us against New Zealand, because I think there's going to be the bloody hammering of all hammerings.
Yeah.
We're getting the message to move on, so we're having such fun. Anyway, let's move on and go and have a look at our three to follow.
And they are off in the Travers. Flower Alley is the winner.
His dad, Distorted Humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
I'll have another, wins the Derby. I'll have another in the Preakness.
Lilacs and Lace, 48-1, upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Right, well, let's go and have a look at our three to follow, and we go to Kenilworth on Saturday, and we go and have a look at Glenn Cotson stepping out a lot of very nice horses, and we're going to go and have a look at the first race, I think it was. Sorry, it was race 3, 1,400 meters. There they are at the start. Silver Bouquet, watch this one.
Yeah, Silver Bouquet walks out the gate and is never really in the race after. It gets close as it can. When it gets to the finish, you can see it in the blue silks being scrubbed just to hold its position on this debut run. And James, interestingly enough, by Silvano, who's stepping out some really nice horses.
Well, there's no reason why he shouldn't. He's got the pedigree. He was a great racehorse, and
Yeah.
I would think that he'd make it as a stallion.
Yeah.
Now, look at the horse on his inside. Is Silver Willow, the two silvers. Silvano, and I think this will improve quite a lot. Bred by Maritz Fontaine and Wilgerbos Triff own it, and in famous Oppenheimer colours, because that ran a very good race too. Because it moved up smartly and then got a little tired.
Yeah, the pace is on here, James. Fort Ruby, I think it is, has gone very quickly. The lady of the house sits in quite close, and Pine Pot, they're the ones who are the vanguard early. But this horse gets away quickly and looks well clear when you see them level up into stretch. And the horse we found at debut in a Silver Bouquet, you can see it in the blue. It looks like it's third last, and if you compare how far behind the leader it is, it's a long, long way.
Absolutely. Well, it starts to go for a split up the inside. As you'll see, the yellow and black colours is now under the whip. She's just getting a reminder, Silver Bouquet. The two silvers are the two horses we picked up here. Silver Willow comes out, starts to run on nicely. Silver Bouquet goes in, goes between horses, and runs on best of all. Both these fillies are well worth watching in the future. They will both win races, and Silver Bouquet runs a really good race behind Lady of the House.
Yeah, good run.
Right, so we're going to move on, and we're going to go to Scottsville, Saturday the 28th of August, Sunday at least, race 1. Let's go and have a look at the maiden plate, 1,000 meters. They backed this horse at long, long odds.
Yeah.
Apprentice ridden, otherwise this probably would have won.
And James, another stallion who's doing well, Gitano Hernando, runs a very good race this horse. The speed is on from the jump. I've got Beauvoir in this race, and Beauvoir is very quick, 2 off the inside. She's a very fast filly, doesn't get beaten far. And your winner is always travelling well up the middle, exclusively trendy. But the horse they back, Delectable Desire, gets a few lengths off them now, James.
Yeah, you watch her, she's in the sort of bluish colours and those just in the picture in the blue and white colours, and then she switches out. She starts coming further and further out. She's got, now she's behind the horse with a white cap,
Yeah.
and she just moves out away from that horse, and then you'll see what I mean by putting the apprentice on, because he's got the stick in the right hand, in the left hand at least. Now he moves out and starts with the stick in the right hand, but she's all over the place, this filly. She's not really going on with any balance, and now she starts going, and my goodness, does she run on well, this filly. Now she gets a stick in the left hand, proper ride on. Next time you'll get this one home.
Yeah, that was a very good debut, and as they touched 25-1 initially, and they decided to back it, and they were a little unfortunate, but exclusively Trendy did it, but Dennis Bosch put in the blinkers on his horse. Let's go to our third one on the same day.
Yeah, we go to Scottsville, 1,400 meters. It was the third race on the card, and Ledicimus Princess is the filly that we picked out. She was always up there, and she ran a very nice race, this filly.
Yeah, she runs a very good race. She runs very well for a horse debuting, in the sense that she isn't all that green. She's in the bluish colours, and she's slightly green here. The winner's gone to front. Online has
The
got
bluish
up there.
colours or the green colours?
It's hard to see from here, bluish green, but the winner, as I say, online's gone to front. And the horse that a lot of people liked, really put in no race, was Intercept. That's in third. La Gitanilla, and then the horse we found is alongside La Gitanilla at this stage in 5th place, Ledimus Princess. It's a sparkling debut when you consider it's debuting around the turn for the first time.
Rocker Rochelle, bred by Hemelanada, out of Casey Tibbs mare. That's that proper Hemelanada breeding.
Proper.
And David Hepburn Brown. And this filly runs a cracking race. She's
Yeah.
4th at the moment. Daryl Daniels gives her a very, very good ride. And it's nice to see him back from his little sojourn in New Zealand.
Yeah, he's back trying to. She comes through the gap very nicely, going after Online, who had the form to win and has gone from the front. My horse, La Gitanilla, starts running on. She's got lengths to find. She's next to the horse we found, Ledimus Princess, but she really takes off late and just gets beaten. But this is a very good debut by the third horse. And as I say, runs quite straight, James, for a debutant.
Absolutely, runs on really, really well. Might have been running on adrenaline because it was 100-1 in the betting, but really runs a very, very good race indeed. And we think that that's certainly one that you can have a close look at following next time it runs. So those are 3 pretty nice ones that we think that you should be following. We're going to go and have a look at the blast from the past. We've got the 2015 Selangor Cup. Let's go and have a look at that.
Gates are open, soft falling rain, pulling clear, soft falling rains won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2000 Guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Class tells, soft falling rain, much too good. Soft falling rain, an impressive Guineas winner. Soft falling rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's soft falling rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mile in style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
Gates Fly racing to a perfect beginning in the Selangor Cup, except for Sylvester the Cat, who was hopelessly left at the start, and he lost about 20 lengths coming out of the gates. Getting away the quickest was Victorious J. Up there with the speed, we got Lord Marshall. Hard Day's Night is pushing forward to go and set up handy. On the move too, we got Eighth Wonder, being followed by Mawari, who's sitting on the rail, just 2 lengths off that leader. 2 further back, we got Purple Mountain, sitting on the inside of Rodney. A length and a half behind that comes Illuminated, the red cap, Aspara between runners. 3 deep on the move, we got NASA, and that leaves Brilliant Crimson racing at the end of the line, and that one sitting a dozen off the leader as they head towards the middle of the bend. Just over 800 metres left to go, and Hard Day's Night has won the battle for the lead. Eighth Wonder is showing up on the outside of Victorious J. Lord Marshall and Mawari going side by side. They 4 lengths off that leader. A length and a half to Rodney. Then we find Purple Mountains and NASA. Next it's Illuminator being followed by Aspara, and Brilliant Crimson going to whoop them in as they flatten for the run to the judge in the Selangor Cup with just over 400 metres left to go. Hard Day's Night is the one in front. Victorious J is in second. Eighth Wonder poised to strike. Being produced up the middle, we got Mawari. Deeper out, we got Rodney. Then comes Lord Marshall into the final 200. Hard Day's Night is being pressed by Victorious J. Mawari still got 4 lengths to make up. Rodney coming up the outside with NASA flying into the closing stages. NASA is also taken off on the outside. To the wire they come. I'd say on the inside, Hard Day's Night kept going. Victorious J and NASA.
Well, there you go. What a ride from Anton Marcus. He's just
Genius.
a master when he gets to the front, dictates the pace brilliantly. That horse should never have won that race. There
Great
were
ride.
horses that were better behind him, they were better than him, including Illuminator, who ended up winning the $1 million race.
That's
so
right, fantastic.
You remember him.
Fantastic. Mawari went on to win the Graham Beck, Group 3. It flattened out this day, but going through a lot of them, James, they've never really mapped out to be top horses here.
No, I think that you sometimes find these races that, Group 2, not very good. But anyway, it was quite interesting and quite fun to watch that. Let's go and have a look at the plum of the week.
Say. Roy's Amazing Ash moved up at the 300. Achilles is coming home at Friend Request. Friend Request now ridden to respond. Respond he does. Achilles is the danger. Roy's passed on the inside. Friend Request hit the front. Roy's passed is on the inside. Friend Request, could it be another give me the green light? Roy's past will not go away though, and you fear Roy's on the inside. Roy's past, they hit the line. Maybe the favourite Friend Request from Roy's past, just when it looked like Roy's past was in a comeback.
Well, if you backed Friend Request, bred by Wilgerbos Drift and Maritz Fontaine, it's a gimme the green light. You got one person to thank, Anthony Del Pesce.
Great ride.
That could not win, and he really was fantastic on that.
And the famous William of Wembley colours.
Yeah, and it looked like the horse to back, it'd been primed for this race, and you could have got on Interbet, you could have got 18 to 10 as started odds on.
Wow.
And this really did look like the bet of the week. And as we say, Del Pesce, he ended up winning the champion KwaZulu-Natal ride at the awards.
Yeah.
But we'll
great
talk
strike,
more.
great lot
We're
of
going to
winners.
show the awards next week. We're
That's
going to,
right.
have a Raymond Spielberg speciality.
Yeah.
And I hope
including resident comedian.
Well, it will be interesting to see some of the speeches. We will definitely not. They will not be abbreviated. Okay.
Okay.
They will be full and final, those speeches. So it will take up our full half an hour for your call. But we're going to call it a break at this moment, and we'll be back with current affairs.
Yes. If you love soccer and you play the tote, you won't believe what Interbet has to offer you, or the excitement of tote betting on your computer or your cell phone. It's simple. Choose your teams and your bets, work out what your combinations will cost, see how big the pool is, and place your bets. You can even track your bet live as it happens and get updates on your progress. It's all the fun of the tote on your phone. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now at www.interbet.co.za and you could be a winner.
Well, the graduate of the week is Captain Splendid from bought at National Yearling Sales, the Emperor's Palace 2014, 800,000 he was. He won the East Cape Derby, this horse, and he bounced back to his best, winning on Saturday at Kenilworth for Fred Crabbier, Justin Snaith, and he's bred by Farsfontein. He's a son of Captain Al, and he's from the same family as Hack Green, is Captain Splendid, and won a nice race for them. So that's the BSA Graduate of the Week, 800 grander at National Yearling Sales. So we're going to move on from that and go and have a look at all our current affairs. And we've got some very interesting stuff in current affairs.
Yeah, unfortunately no stakes races around the country. So we brought you the Travers Stakes from New York and Saratoga from America, I should say. And we will bring you a big race from it, from the same venue next week. We've got a very big race coming through. But James, let's have a look at the Travers, because it's an interesting race.
Absolutely. Watch this horse win. It's absolutely cantered in the colours of Khalid Abdullah, and Bob Baffert ran first and second. Let's go and pick him up.
In the Travers. And American Freedom and Arrowgate are sent along from the inside. And there on the outside goes Lauban after them. So Lauban moves up alongside of American Freedom early to set the pace. And then it's Arrowgate. Runner on the outside is running along in fourth position early on as they make their way into that first turn. And Axamandros is next. Destined to the inside, then Connect and Gift Box. My Man Sam, Forever Doro and Creator, Governor Malibu. And Exaggerator is dead last early on, but the pace is very fast here. They went 1/4 in 23 1/5 seconds, and they race on to the backstretch with the leader Arrowgate. Arrowgate is on top. A 3 wide Lauban is second. Between those two's American Freedom running in third. Destin is fourth. Then Gunrunner on the outside of Anaximandros. 3 lengths more back to Connect. Gift Boxes after that. Exaggerator still near the back of the field. He just has 1 horse beaten after a snappy 46 4/2 mile. So the Bob Baffert trainees are 1-2. It is Arrowgate in front of American Freedom as they head toward the half-mile pole. Lauban is third on the outside. Destin and Gunrunner right behind them. Connect is 6 lengths off the lead. And then comes Gift Box on the outside of Anaximandros. Creator is still about 8 lengths behind. And Exaggerator continues to just linger at the back of the field after 3/4 in 1:10 4. Around the far turn, Arrowgate and American Freedom will turn for home. These stablemates are 1-2 here in the Travers. Gunrunner is third. Connect is fourth. Gift Box is next. Exaggerator is coming wide as they come to the top of the stretch. It is Arrowgate and Mike Smith. Oh, they've opened up a 6-length lead here with 1 furlong to run. They've left the field reeling behind. American Freedom and Gunrunner are far behind Arrowgate. What a commanding performance. He won the Travers by 12. Oh, what a race he ran today. American Freedom was second. Gunrunner was third. And Gift Box was fourth. In a final time of 1 minute 59.36 seconds.
Well, what a performance. This was winning the Travers Stakes. It's a Group 1 race. And James, Arrogate, we're going to hear a bit more about this.
And what interests me is, you know what Arrogate is?
Arrogate?
Yeah.
Well, everything with a gate in America is some sort of conspiracy, some sort of, Watergate, whatever. What's Arrogate?
You don't know?
No, I'm asking.
From a linguist like yourself.
What is Arrogate?
It is take claim to something without justification. That is what to arrogate is.
Okay.
To take claim
to something
without justification.
Okay.
So arrogate
a bit like when you said you tipped the July winner the 1 year.
Yeah, without
that's
justification.
That's complete arrogate.
Arrogance.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is that this horse won by 13.5, and he broke the course record that stood for 37 years. General Assembly held the course record, and Arrogate broke it. They ran 159 and a touch, which is just unbelievable. Do you see the mud on those horses behind?
Yeah, they cut up. James, I'm just going through the stallions of the runners in the race, Tappet, Pulpit, a couple of Curlins, Uncle Mo, Hardspun, big guns.
Yeah, and Unbridled Song's the sire of this horse, and Mike Smith rode Unbridled Song when he was around. So here's the jockey. Bob Baffert ran first and second. And as you can see, Saratoga, this time of the year, they have a meet that runs through August and early into September, and we'll be showing you on the weekend. On Saturday they run the Woodward, which is another big Group 1, and Frosted will be out there. But the interesting thing in the Woodward is that Mubtahij looks like he's going to run as well.
Has he run since he came back?
He's with Kieran McLaughlin.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he's run or not, but the point is that we will find out all about it closer to the time. But that's Saturday's racing. Let's get busy to watch Mubtahij, our old favourite who used to be with Mike de Kock. Can we move on, Lav?
Yeah,
Flincher won the Sword Dancer, which is the other big race. And Flincher is trained now by Chad Chumpy Brown.
Used to be Hannon.
Javier Castellano rode him, and he was also ran second in the Arc and second in the Hong Kong Gold Vase.
Stays well.
He was a very, very good horse. They sent him to Chad Brown, who's the leading light in American trainers at the moment. He's Chumpy Brown. He's a boykie. You go on Indian Charlie, go and read about Chad Chumpy Brown. Indian Charlie loves having a go at him.
James, just talk about Joe Moreira. He's got to be up with Ryan Moore, probably the best jockey in the world up there.
I think Joel Moreira's got something. He's got the X factor. It looks like he just gets horses to run. He went to Japan for the Jockeys International Rest of the World against the Japanese rider and rode 6 winners in a row.
Yeah, he had 8 rides, 6 winners in a row, then a second, then a third. It's an incredible. He broke someone's record too, didn't he?
Well, he tied the record with Yataki Taki.
With who?
Yataki Taki.
Oh, of course.
Yataki Taki is the top Japanese rider of all time, and he ridden in the Arc and whatever. He's been castigated by the Europeans, but he's a really, really good rider. And so Joel Moreira equaled his record and just got beaten on the 7th.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
amazing.
But he didn't win the jockey's title. Can you believe it?
No, he was very weak next day.
Yeah,
very weak.
It was over 4 races, and he just didn't have the rides. As far as the rest is concerned,
Haley Turner, the ITV putting together a team, James, to do the presenting, and Haley Turner, just came back to ride in the Sugar Cup
and won.
They come back on a grey horse. She's going to be involved with the RTV team. Looks a good team.
Well, they've got Francesca Comani,
fantastic, great
and
presenter.
Ed Chamberlain as the 2 leads.
Ed's a very knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, they're the 2 lead guys, and this team is going to include Ollie Bell and Sally-Ann Grasick, who's also a lady rider as well. So Haley Turner is a great addition. She's been doing a lot of television. She's good. Just talking about English racing, there was a Group 3 at York on Saturday called the Strensel Stakes over 9 furlongs. And the winner was a horse called Scottish. But who ran second?
You're going to tell me.
Yeah, our old mate Yorker.
Oh, good horse, Yorker.
Yeah, Yorker. Isn't he a bit of Silvana?
I think
but he runs in Bernard Cantor's colours.
Yeah, I remember those clearly. Didn't he win a Summer Cup or something?
Yeah.
He went to Dubai, never raced there, and he's gone off to England. He's very good horse.
Yeah, I think he's probably with William Haggis. So I didn't get
that
information.
Second.
But he ran second in a Group 3, as they're called the Fred Strensel Stakes. Just talking about England, Any Currency won a race at Cheltenham in April.
Yeah, this
one
is
of the big chasers, and trained by a guy called Martin Keeley, who was assistant to David Nicholson.
Okay.
Martin Keeley took out his license in his own right. A small trainer. This horse got disqualified for having traces of TLA, which is a cortisone, in its urine. Okay, but what is most important about this case is that Martin Keeley wasn't fined.
Okay, what was the reasons?
The reason's not really clear, but it seems to be the reason is that the BHA, which seems to race under the same rules as we race under, said that he couldn't be held accountable for it being in the system, but he admitted that the horse had been given the injections in its hocks. So
that is strange,
we have this absolute discretionary rule, which here in this country, that if you're in charge of the horse, you will get done.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not obviously the case here, and I must tell you, it was very interesting to read the BHA comment. They said we race under the European rules and this and that and the other, and there is a discretion to not fine the trainer if.
We feel there is no...
I don't know. I can't work it out. It just seemed amazing.
That is strange,
it should be opened up and have a close look at. As far as the rest is concerned, well, we've got...
East Cape Racing Awards.
East Cape Awards over the weekend. We had our own awards, which we're going to show next week. But the East Cape Racing Awards, Tara Lang's runner...
Crown of
Gold, yeah. Champion horse of Eastern Cape.
Someone told me there was an article in one of our publications that people who were not 100% with that the awards were right, but you always get that, James, don't you?
Always get it. You're always going to get the awards. And
difference of opinions.
I think that when we talk about the awards, the KwaZulu-Natal awards, I think that at last the panel that has adjudicated on the awards get it right, and that it should be for Natal horses that race in Natal over the season. Yeah. But the horse of the year can come from anywhere. It was a performance of the whole season. And
John, one thing I wanted to ask you about before we talk about Gary Waterston was how impressed you were with Lyndon Barnes, who now heads the NHA, the jockey club, the old jockey club.
Very interesting, and if he performs as he spoke, and follows through, he could be the shining light that we've been looking for.
I think he's a breath of fresh air, James. He brought his teams down. He's having these road shows all around the country. I've met with him before. I'm very impressed with this man.
Well, let's hope that he follows through. I've seen this happen before, New Broom Sweep Clean.
Have you ever been to a road show before?
Never. In 41 years, I said to him, I congratulated him, because I said in 41 years as a trainer, I've never been invited to anything from the NHA except trouble.
By the bucket.
Yeah, by the bucket load, okay? Because I'm always in trouble with them. And my old mucker, Gary Waterston, he's the head of the academy in Johannesburg, and I think that Alison McKenzie and Mary Slack organised to get him in there. And it was a master stroke. He's taken apprentices from here who couldn't ride their way out of a paper bag and made them into jockeys. And he really is one of the best academy masters, riding masters you will find. He was a very fine jockey himself, and he has been headhunted to Korea. So imagine we lose a guy like Felix Coetzee, Gary Waterston. You know, it's very sad for us. Ivan Moore's son was the head apprentice master in Korea, and Gary's taking over from him. So we wish him well on his travels, and really he's one of the best you could find, and good luck to him. He's going to have some fun in Korea, I can imagine.
No, that's brilliant. Well done to him. You know, and as you say, our ex-riders and riders, they can hold their heads up high. They're internationally acclaimed.
Yeah. Well, it's sad to lose him. I'm sorry to see him go, because as I say, he took frogs and made them into princes in Johannesburg. Okay, so with that quote of the week, we had a picture, but we can't work out who's who in the zoo, so we'll show it to you next week. But we're going to go and have a listen to what Jack Ramsey's got to say in Your Call. Well, there we are. Last week we had the Anita Akel Award winner, Jack Ramsey, in studio, and we got him in again this week. And Jack, great to be able to continue with this discussion with you this week, because we only touched the tip of the iceberg. Horses we were chatting about, and you mentioned Secretariat as the greatest you'd ever seen. But here in South Africa, you remember some of those old horses that did phenomenal things.
Yes, I do. Java, for instance, 3 summer handicaps.
But the amazing thing about Jarvie was how he did it.
Yes, he had, I think, 1 race in between each of his victories.
Didn't Ivan Moore ride him?
No, Ivan Moore was down to ride him. He would have ridden the big double because he won the Dingons a week or so previous, and he was down to ride Java. And the meeting started at Turffontein and came down very heavy rain. So they stopped after the first race, and they continued with the meeting on the Monday. But over the weekend, they took Ivan off Java and put Tigerata, and Java won.
Ivan must have been distraught.
Shame. Yeah, he was. He was an apprentice in those days. He was an appy, actually.
But there's a rider who was a very good rider,
yes,
and a nice man.
He's a very nice man, yes, yeah. Well, he's still around, and he's a good trainer too.
Yeah, very good trainer with very limited opportunities.
That's right, yeah. True.
But I remember when he used to come down from Zimbabwe and ride for Ricky Ginsburg.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah.
Every now and again we used to see Ivan cruising them.
Yes.
Well dressed, neat, dapper.
That's right.
And a very good horseman.
Always been like that, yes. But I think Java was a great horse. But there's a little grey horse. I don't think many people remember him, Casbar.
Yeah, it was before my time.
Casbar was a Galloway. It was a pony.
Was that Rathbones?
Yes, Liz Rathbone trained him. And he in those days they had measured racing.
Well, yeah, explain that, because people out there won't have any idea.
14-1 hands was a Galloway. And the whole meetings at Turffontein, it was called the Transvaal Racing Club then.
Yeah,
at Turffontein.
That's right.
And they only had Galloway racing. All their races was for measured horses. And Casbar was one of them. And he was phenomenal. He won the Chairman's over 6 furlongs.
Yeah.
He won the Dingons over a mile, and then he won the summer handicap. And he's the easiest summer handicap you've ever seen. He absolutely paralysed the field. He was in the winning post. They were just coming through the 200-metre mark. It was a great. I don't think any other horse ever won like that.
And you're saying he was the only 14-1 hand horse. Was it 14-1 or 14-3?
Yeah, 14-1.
14-1.
Yeah.
And then just talking about Turffontein, then became 2 racing clubs: the Johannesburg Turf Club and the Transvaal Racing Club.
Well, they both ran. They were both in working at the same time, but they had different meetings, you know. But the Transvaal Racing Club was only for measured horses.
Yeah.
And there were many in those days. Many Galloways, as they called them.
Les Rathbone related to Jimmy Lithgow.
Yes.
Jimmy married his daughter.
He did, yes.
Yeah. You know Jimmy?
Yes, I know Jimmy well. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, he's a very, very, very informed scribe as well, isn't he?
He is, yes.
And quite a good actor, they tell me.
I believe so, yes. I've never seen him act.
Have you never seen the movie Invictus, where he says, all our sheep for all your gold, or all our gold for all your sheep, to the guy before the Rugby World Cup when they're having a bet?
No, I haven't seen it.
you got to watch it. It's an Oscar-winning performance from Jimmy. Yeah. Talking about horses, okay, Casbar, Java people trained by Len Oates, by Jackie Butler.
Yeah. Oh, he was a great trainer, Jackie. Jackie made very few mistakes, but he couldn't afford to the way they bet.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys used to go around and unlimited and bet. They had millions on horses.
Yeah.
As Len said when Brookhill won the July, he said any bloke wins the July and doesn't win 6 figures is stupid.
And we're talking about the old days. That was pounds.
That's right. Yeah.
And then obviously some of the latter day trainers that we know well, Sid Laird must be one of the best.
Sid Laird, and the greatest was Terence Millard.
Yeah.
Terence in a class by himself.
He's a great horseman as well, wasn't he?
Terence, when he told you horse was going to win, there was no arguments.
Yeah.
And moreover, he was able to tell you what he had to beat, and invariably the horse he told you he had to beat ran second.
Yeah.
You know?
So you caught the exactors here as well.
Yeah, he was really good, Terence. I mean, I went to his place at Millerton. He was a super trainer. He left nothing to chance. Every horse that galloped, he stood, had to listen to him breathing afterwards, and go and look at what the horse had left in the manger. He went himself personally, and so he did everything. Sundays, Mondays, he just lived horses.
Yeah.
And he was great.
I know he wasn't that good a polo player. No, we beat them up a couple of times on the polo ground, Terence. Yeah. But maybe he didn't have enough time because he was training the horses. But
you remember him saying to me when Mark Anthony won the Met, he said, "Jack, this is the easiest winner you'll ever see." And he's right. It was. He cantered from the start and beat them absolutely.
What do you want by about 8 lengths? I think.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, then the horse Chestnut obviously was just an easy winner of the Met.
That's
How do you rate Mike the Cock?
Oh, he's a great. Mark's also a great trainer, I think. Oh, Mark's another one. He's another super guy. He's a professional. He leaves nothing to chance either. He's got a great team as well. And Mark's, he's spread his wings and he's done remarkably well overseas. I mean.
But today things have changed. In those days, I think Terence used to have stables of 40 or 50 horses.
That's
today,
right.
Mike's got 300 all over the world.
Yes, that's right. It must be difficult for Mike. I mean, to have, race Joburg here overseas, and he does fantastically well.
Talking about obviously one of the greats as far as the July is concerned, you went to how many 71?
71 Julys I've seen.
Consecutive Julys?
Yes. Well, I had a break. I was in the Navy for 6 years because my first July was 1936 when Petersfield, the second one. He beat Afros, was the favourite, hot pot favourite that year. Petersfield, big chestnut, lovely looking horse, and he won. That was my first July.
And then obviously in the war years, the 6 years, you never went?
I was away for 6 years. When I came back, I saw St. Paul's win the July, first July.
St. Paul's, was that Goss's horse?
That was a Galloway.
Yeah,
ridden by Georgie Foster.
Yeah.
Jumped over a bicycle. Somebody left a bicycle on the track.
Was he in front and he jumped over the bicycle?
Yeah, he led all the way, St. Paul's.
Yeah. No. That's absolutely amazing. But Sid Laird was the greatest July trainer that we've seen.
Well, yes, you look at his record.
Yeah.
Although Terence would have beaten him, I think, if he'd stayed on.
Yeah.
He
had him in his sights.
He was one less, wasn't he? Yeah. And he handed over to Tony.
Yeah, I think the greatest disappointment for Terence was Empress Club. She was favourite, and I think she would have doddled the July. They took her out the day before, the day of the race.
That's right. Yeah.
But just talking about Sid Laird, Sea Cottage. Do you remember all that?
Yeah, it was a great horse, Sea Cottage. Yes, he was a strange horse. He used to ride the jockey.
Yeah.
You couldn't ride him. Yeah. He used to be tailed off on all these races, and then produce this fantastic finish. And in the early days, I said to Robert Silverwright, who rode him in all these races, "Why aren't you up with the pace?" He said he won't go up there. He just won't. He said that's the way he races, and that's the way I've got to ride him.
But then he said that. But then he went to Joburg for I think there was the
match race,
the big race that they put him against.
Yes, Magic Mirror.
Yeah. And he
well,
was
that was a 2-horse race, a match race. Well, that with the 2 horses he was there, but most of his in the July came from way back to Dead Heat with Jollify.
Yeah, well, Jollify had to be one of the best riding exhibitions John Gorton ever had in his career.
He was unlucky to lose, actually. I think as the race was run. First of all, John was 2 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
Secondly, in a race at Clearwood, he hit the rails and the iron buckled on his ankle. They had to cut it off. And when he rode in the July, he had an injection in his one ankle, painkiller, to help him.
Yeah.
And that must have been a terrific handicap to ride a finish like that.
Two dead heats in the July, just with great horses.
Pocket Powers were one of the greatest.
Yeah. And the filly was
and that
just...
filly, yes, she was fantastic as well. I mean, modern day Pocket Power was outstanding. Really, you know. Dynasty was a great horse too. I mean, he was only beaten once. So I remember Robbie Fradd rode him the first time he ran at Grosvenor, and he said to me, "You can have a bet on this horse." He said, "Have a few rand on." And he won, and he was last turning for home, and I thought, well, Robbie's off his head now. He's told me to back this horse. Anyway, he finished up winning by a street.
Yeah.
And I always remember Robbie saying to me, "This horse will never be beaten." And he was only one race wrong. And luckily he had the race. Remember, Felix got ill, and he had the ride on, funny enough, on Dynasty in the July.
Yeah, and he raced wide the whole way.
Well,
to 420.
he said to me, he said, "I didn't ride Dynasty." He said, "I rode the worst race of my life."
Yeah.
He said, "I tried to steady the horse, I couldn't." He said, "In the end, I gave up." Said, "We'll go."
Yeah.
And he said, "I thought when I let him go, he's going to stop." And he said, he just kept finding. Oh.
Jack, you've obviously chatted to many jockeys and trainers over the years, you know, after races, before races. Yeah. Are they good judges, jockeys, listed?
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some are miserable bastards, you know. But some are pretty good. I mean, modern day guys, Striker Stridham, very good. Del Pesh, Marcus, all these blokes, they're good. They talk. Sean Cormack, all nice blokes to talk to after a race.
And are they good judges?
Well, I think so, yes. I think they all
and the
would.
trainers?
The trainers, well, you know, there's Mike and there's Dennis Dreyer.
Yeah.
Dennis is a good man.
Yeah. You've been around Dennis for a long time.
I remember Dennis was a little boy. He wanted to start a fight outside Roma Lodge when he was a child, because somebody set the stables alight after the Met. Sea Cottage ran the Met, ran fourth.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting on the balcony of the Cambridge Hotel, and Duncan Alexander called me and said, "Quick, Uncle Jack, come and help. The stables are on fire. We've got to ride the horses out."
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay." So I went across, and we had to take all the horses out and take them down the road to Millard Stable.
Park Lodge, yeah.
Yeah. And
Roma Lodge was Sid's place, was it?
Yeah, that Roma Lodge is famous.
So it was before that, Sid Garrett.
Sid Garrett, yeah. And Sid Lee's uncle.
Yeah.
And Sea Cottage was ridden by a bloke never been on a horse before, policeman. No, he pretty wanted to take it. The fire was mostly in the 2-year-old section.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So what did Dennis want to start?
And then someone was saying that somebody said they should burn the stable down. We pulled up bloody Sea Cottage in the Met today, and Dennis wanted to kill this bloke. he was a little lighty then.
Yeah. But I think Ted, he looked after himself.
Oh, Dennis, yeah, he's good. I remember his dad, I had a friend of his dad. He was a starter, Dennis's father. Very nice bloke too, yeah.
Well, the Den worked with the lads forever. That's that was his upbringing, wasn't
That's right.
Part of the family.
Part of the family, yeah.
And then obviously Jill, his wife, John
Breville's daughter,
yeah.
No, Dennis. I like Dennis. Is a good man to talk to.
But he could get in a bit of a rort every now and again. I know that on Friday nights he used to go out, go out there. They had a few fights in those evenings.
No, he's a good trainer too.
Did you ever get into those gambling evenings where they played 2-ups and all that type of thing?
No, I was once a referee in a bowling match with Sid Lee at 1,000 rand a throw. Him and Wolfie Corkett. At the Cambridge Bowling Club in Cape Town. Yeah. I was sitting on the red. "Come on, you can be the judge here," and they were betting 1,000 rand a throw.
No racing.
No, and matches
so they were
too.
bored.
They were match happy as well. This match game.
Matches. Yeah.
Harold Robertson, the bookmaker.
Well, he was the champion bowler.
Yes,
he would have bowled them to pieces, those two, because they could not bowl with him. Yeah.
But he thought he was a good match player until he bumped Sid Lee's jockey, Popeye, what was his name? He won the Met on Murrayfield.
KO?
No, his name slips my memory at the moment. He was a great match player. And
well, what's that? You hold 3 matches in your hand. You either take 1, 2, or 3.
Each of you hold,
and
you have to guess what the total is.
Yeah.
Popeye was his name.
Popeye. Good gracious, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I could see him now, but I can't think of his name.
I remember Sir Wright and all those guys. You know.
Well, Murrayfield was 66-1.
And Bert Hayden.
That's right.
Yeah.
In fact, Murrayfield ran in the July here, and in a way, he was the cause of Cyril Buckham winning the July.
Yeah.
Because Murrayfield, trained by Harry Katz, an English horse, and Monasterhaven was in Ted Shaw's stable. He had Monasterhaven and another horse. He had Favourite at the time, and what's his name? Ernie Pike, and had engaged Basil Lewis to ride Monasterhaven in the July. And I went into Tattersalls like a couple of weeks before, and he said, "We're in big trouble." Andrew James, and they were partners.
Yeah.
Andrew James. He said, "Basil Lewis wants to get off Monasterhaven and ride Murrayfield," because Murrayfield had run a good race on the Saturday. So I said, "Well, let him go. If he wants to ride Murrayfield, let him ride Murrayfield. If his heart won't be on Monasterhaven, get someone else." So they said, "Who can we get?" So I said, "Well, there's a good apprentice, Cyril Buckham. Why don't you get him?" And they got him, and he won.
And he won.
He won, yeah. And Murrayfield ran 4th.
And Cyril Buckham ended up head of the academy, didn't he?
That's right. He was a riding master when Mace Roberts was an apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a great rider,
He was
Cyril
a good rider, Cyril, yes. Yeah, he won on Australia. He rode a fantastic race too.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, Guinea Gold was hot pot favourite for that year.
Yeah.
The talking horse, Charlie Berenza, breaking every watch they had, the gallops. Meantime, Monasterhaven was also, and nobody took any notice of this horse, and he was putting up fantastic gallops. Cocky Feldman was standing next to me in the final gallop. He said, "I wish I was on that horse." He said, "Bren's on the wrong horse." He said, that horse will win." And he was right.
Just shows you.
Yeah.
And Jack, obviously in all these years of the July, you've seen some phenomenal results, Excise, then Principal Boy with the Gate Crasher.
Yeah, that was an unlucky loser. That was terrible. Shame that they took that race. They had to do it under the rules.
Under the rules.
Oh, they had to.
But distinctly should have won that July.
Yes, he should have.
He was the best horse in the race.
But Gate Crasher, I mean, he was some horse, eh? And he was a brilliant horseman, but he had that habit, and they couldn't stop it. He just
ran out,
straight across the course always.
Only on a right-hand track. On the left-hand track, he was fine.
Cape Town, he won the Guineas in Cape Town. Yeah. No, he was fine. That was terribly, and Surfing Home was unlucky too.
Yeah.
To lose,
Well,
also an objection.
Yeah. He could, but the horse that was unlucky that year, I think, was Pas de Croix. He was the unlucky horse. He got actually taken out.
Yes.
Maingard's horse won at, what is his name? Something Spacewalk or Space...
No, Spacewalk caused the trouble too.
Yeah.
What's that Principal Boy one?
No, I'm talking about the year that Surfing Home got the race taken away.
Oh, that, yes. Oh, that's right, yeah.
Principal Boy, he ended up getting the race. He went down the inside of the track, but he was never the best horse in the race.
That was Robbie Thompson rode him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we still see Robbie Thompson
Robbie's
around.
Yeah.
As we call him, No Toes Thompson.
He was a good rider, Robbie. When he rode for the Oppenheimers, he was a good rider.
Yeah, well, he was Breville's lightweight jockey, wasn't he?
He was very good.
Yeah. Your years have been always as a writer.
Yes, always been a writer.
So you must have written some fantastic stories in your time.
Yeah, I suppose so. When I go back, think about them.
Well, what story sticks in your mind that the Sea Cottage story obviously was a huge story.
This was one of them. That was so sudden the way that happened.
Yeah.
In the morning, and suddenly somebody came. We rushed out to Newmarket. Esmond Coro was the reporter with me. He did the news story, and we went out, and Eileen Bestel saw the whole incident.
She saw the whole incident.
And Sid was there and in an absolute panic, shame.
Yeah.
And fortunately, it really didn't affect his preparation all that much, People think, but he still worked, and he ran in July.
Yeah.
And the other horse won, the stable
Job Ahead.
Job Ahead.
Yeah.
And Secret would have had to break the record to beat Job Ahead.
Yeah.
Because Job Ahead ran record time when he won.
But, you say it didn't affect his preparation. It's got to affect you. I know with training horses we see that little things just...
Yeah, it might have been. But he was a laid-back horse, And as I say, I don't know. It's difficult to say. But because he ran a great race even with,
Great race, yeah. And other stories, what happened when it all broke and what they'd done and,
Sid jumped on the horse's back when he did in the weighing enclosure because that's what Jollified won the year that Sea Cottage did heated, Well,
Mike de Kock did that, I think, on Epitombi as well. I think he jumped on his back too, yeah. Thought he was back in the army.
Yeah.
But stories, they've got to be the people that have done bad things in this industry. That was probably one of the worst things that ever happened.
Yes, I suppose so, yes. I would say that's by far the worst thing that ever happened, yes.
To shoot the July favourite.
Yes.
But they've stopped horses that were July favourites and that, and
Well, that Bellarminus was the great wizard in Joburg, the bad man of racing.
Did you know him?
Yes, I knew Joe very well. And funny enough, he loved horses.
He was a wonderful horseman.
He looked after that horse Gambit.
Yeah.
Gambit, they talk about running overseas. Gambit went overseas and won a mile race, which he
couldn't go a mile here.
Yeah. He was a pure sprinter.
Yeah.
He went to England and won a mile race.
Amazing.
And then came back here.
We had horses like we were talking earlier on the show last week with Wolfpower. There have been some wonderful horses that have gone overseas.
There was a horse in Cape Town, I can't remember his name. He went backwards and forwards and he won every time he went over. He went to America. He was a sprinter, chestnut.
That must have been years ago.
Yes, yes, it was. I can't remember his name now.
But some of the great horses that went there, Bold Tropic, Top Gallant.
Top Gallant.
Yeah.
Top Gallant won the...
Hawaii was the grass horse of the year.
Hawaii was one of the greatest horses.
Yeah.
He was a funny horse. He didn't like Greville. Yeah. That's the only time he ever got beaten.
Well, he got beaten by a stable companion here in the July, Riverville.
Yeah, well, he got beaten in that race, that 3-year-old race, or the chairman's, I forget the name, they've changed the name now.
Yeah.
Millard's horse won. And he ran second in that race. It was a funny thing, he won the African Breeders here as a 2-year-old. As a sprint race. And he came here with a terrific reputation, which he'd earned. And Charlie Behrens ran second to him. And Charlie was having a chat to me after the race, and he said, "I don't think I was such a great horse." I said, "What makes you think that?" He said he was battling to beat me in the African Breeders. I said, "Charlie, you're wrong. He is a great horse." And he said, "I don't think so." Well, he went to America, broke the grass track record. He sired a Derby winner, Henbit, and a runner-up the one year.
Yeah.
And I was at the races in Miami at Calder, and there's a horse called Waikiki Wind running by Hawaii. And he won the big race. And the journalists there, they've all got their little offices where they sit, and they wanted to interview me, do a story on me. So I went to sit there, and the bloke said, it was a ridiculous question. He said, "Do you have thoroughbred racing in South Africa?" I said, "Do you know what's just won that race, Waikiki Wind, the sire, is called Hawaii?" I said, "Hawaii was bred in South Africa. Didn't you know that?" and they didn't. He didn't.
Well, when Mike de Kock arrived at Gulfstream with Horse Chestnut, and he asked the handicapper where he's going to rate the horse when he's going to run in the Brouard, the guy said to him, "Oh, well, that zebra of yours, we'll have to give him a low rating, can't be with our horses." And Mike said he was doing handstands when he walked out the office because the guy was talking about his zebra from Africa. Well, we know what he did off the low rating.
Amazing, yeah.
You've seen some things in your life.
Yes, I have.
And
I've met a lot of night racing. It's been a wonderful sort of road in my life.
Yeah.
Everybody I've met, I've met some bad guys, but generally racing people are fantastic.
They're bad people in all walks of life, Jack.
Absolutely.
But
the racing people are good. They're amazing.
And you love going racing. I see you there every week.
Yes.
And you still actively partake and enjoy it.
Yes, I'm still doing it.
Yeah. It's
still writing stories.
Still writing stories, which is fantastic. It's just unbelievable.
Well, I would hate to do nothing.
Yeah. So you'll just carry on doing this.
Well, I've been fortunate because it's something I love, and it wasn't work for me. It was a pleasure to write about racing, to write about the people and the horses. Not like a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All consuming.
Absolutely, and you've got no hours. You just work when you have to, and I've seen the world through it.
And technology's changed completely, hasn't
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. It's all different now.
And now you can do, you don't even have to spell a word anymore. They've got things, so you don't have to be a good,
I mean, they used to have tapes, to start races. Now they've got starting stalls. I mean, the trainers here threw their hands up. You can't bring these things. They'll shake and shudder, and the horses will fall down, and the jockeys will be hurt. And many years after, would you guys like to go back to those tapes? Oh no, they changed. No. But to start with, they didn't want to have these things.
Changes, change is all encompassing. We've been changing Greyville Racecourse. It's been like this for over 100 years.
Interesting to see that. Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to alter the whole track, the face of the track and everything. I mean, what's going to happen? It's going to reduce the fields too.
Yeah, well, there's the face of technology and going forward. Jack, we got to cut it here. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and really, long may you carry on doing what you love doing. We love having you around, and thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Jack Ramsey, well, there's some people that are passionate about racing, and there's some people that are damn well born to be in racing, and Jack Ramsey is one of those. He has been a man of great character, and it has been our pleasure to have him on our show, and long may he be with us to keep us informed with all these wonderful stories. Hope you've enjoyed it. From me, James Goodman, and Paul Lafferty. Have a great week's racing.